The first is we are video recording this session, okay? And we will make this recording available to the participants, not the registrants, right? Or only the participants, okay? We are going to have a very interesting presentation this morning from Miss Theivanai, and I'll introduce her in just a quick minute, okay? And she'll present her information for right about 45 minutes, and then we're going to do a very quick Q&A, question and answer session after that. She's prepared for any hard questions. Okay, what I'd like you to do is, during the presentation, if you have a question, you can type it in the chat. I will take note of it. If you don't want to type it in the chat, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to write it down so that when we have the Q&A, you have your question ready. I hope that makes sense, all right? So having mentioned those things, what I would request for everyone to do is you can stop your video if you like. You should mute yourself because we do have some background noise here and there. And I'd like to introduce our speaker for this morning's session, okay? And we have Miss Theivanai Muniandy. I call her Miss Theva. She is a people development consultant as well as an HRDF trainer. She's the business development director of Channel Training and Development. She holds a Master's of Education, majored in Educational Psychology, BA Honors in Psychology, Diploma in Information System Administration. So I've known Tevia for a little bit of time. I think we met in late 2019, I believe. And what I understand is that she does lead a highly motivated team of trainers who constantly raise the bar on excellence. And having close to 10 years experience in different backgrounds, in training, teaching, sales and marketing, fitness industry, I think I need some help there, business development, customer care, customer service. And, she's also been a speaker at the SME seminar organized by HRDF. So she's been invited for speaking engagements to address various issues and topics. And also, she was a judge. She was a judge for Be Bold and Be Heard, which was a debate competition organized by the Malaysian Women Entrepreneurs Association, as well as a speaker in the Malaysian Women Entrepreneurs Association Speakers Club. So this morning, she's going to share with us, it's not an English lesson, all right, but it's a lesson in communication as well as body language. And one of the things that really excited me about this topic is, we have different kinds of communication. We have the verbal and the nonverbal, okay? And of course, what's very important about the nonverbal is that, of course, it's not spoken, right? It's what we see in someone's posture. It's what we see in someone's, outside physical behavior. And so that tells us volumes as well. So I want to make sure that we take great notes. I want to make sure that we get great information. If you have questions, please write it down during the presentation and get ready to ask your questions once we get into the Q&A. So, Ms. Tevia, are you ready for for your hot seat? Are you ready for sharing your wonderful information with us?
Yes. I'm so excited today. Thanks, Chris. Thanks.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I understand that you have been muted, so it's okay. You can always show me a thumbs up. You can show some reactions, and I'm gonna make today's session very casual. All right. And as Chris said, I'm not a language expert, so I'm not going to correct your English grammar or to teach or going to teach you how to speak a proper English. No, I'm not going to do that. All right. So I'm going to share more on some common issues that we all face on a daily life basis, like meaning, it can be our workplace, at our workplace, it can be personal, family, with friends. So these are the issues that we usually face, right? So I'm going to talk about communication. Basically, I'm going to link communication and body language, where, these two are very much interrelated, and how we can actually enhance our communication skills, right? Okay, so let me start with this. Let me share something about myself, which I believe most of you have gone through this phase in, some point of time in your life, right? So myself, I am born in a Tamil-speaking family. All right, I'm a Hindu. I'm an Indian. So Tamil-speaking family where we don't really speak or communicate much in English, right? So when I start, how to say, when I start mingling around with people, I often afraid that I might get myself embarrassed when I, talk to somebody, right? I believe some of you agree with this, right? So it's kind of like, it's not that you do not know what to say, you just do not know how to say it. It might be just here, waiting, sticking here, but you just cannot say it out, right? Okay, so because we are just so much concerned about the language we use, we are so much concerned about using proper grammar and so on. A lot of issues, right? So being from this background, I started understanding certain things where I have used it to improvise myself, especially in communication skills, right? So I want you all to understand that communication is not complicated. All right. So please allow me to share some slides. So I believe rather than me just talking, it would be good if you can see some things, and it will be easier for you to understand. Can? Can? All right. So right. I know that you can see a tiny logo thing called reaction down here. So you can show your thumbs up. You can laugh until you tear. You can show some signs, since all of you are muted. So we can basically communicate like this. Are we good? Can I see some thumbs up? Great, great, awesome. Right. Okay, so please allow me to share my screen. Okay, right. So I believe all of you can see, right? Yes? Okay, great. Okay, right. Okay, is it clear? Can? Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Great. Okay, now, so we're going to talk about communication, power of communication and understanding body language, right? So now, okay, just give me a moment. Okay, now, okay, I'll skip that part. All right, now, so today we're going to cover, like I said, communication is an important aspect in everybody's life, where it can be used for personal reason, workplace. It can basically vary depending on what you need, right? So I'll be talking about three main things today, right? Importance of communication and how it affects business results, right? Communication strategies, body language to enhance self-esteem, and verbal and non-verbal communication essentials, right? Okay, so let me just proceed. Let me start with this. So what is communication? The answer is already there, right? Okay, now let me put this in the most simplest way. Communication is basically transforming information, right? So we need a medium to convey our message, and we cannot communicate when there's no receiver. So there's always two-person or more involved when we are communicating. Like for example, today we are communicating through Zoom. So this Zoom platform is actually a medium for me to convey my message. right? So we have to understand communication is the process of getting somebody to understand what we are saying. A good example, let's say you are stuck in a foreign country where you do not know their language, right? You do not know how to speak their language. But using your non-verbal communication, for example, I need water. I need water. Can you all see me? I know my face is too small, tiny there, but I hope it's clear enough for you all to see. Can All right. So water. I believe you can understand that I need water, right? Choking, right? So basically it's not necessary for you to understand the language, but you can interpret the meaning, you can deliver it in any other medium so that the other people can understand. Okay, good. All right, so always remember, communication, you need a medium, and it is a way of delivering your message. So there's a receiver and sender. So two-person or more involved in overall communication process. Okay. All right. So let me move to the next slide. Now, this is interesting. Importance of communication and how it affects business results. Okay, it is a common issue where, let's say, at workplace, right? You are in, you are at your workplace and you would like to say something. You need to present something, but because you could not deliver it 100%, the message might not be conveyed the right way, or you may not get the receiver understand you 100%. And why this happens, you always question yourself. Some other people, they might not even have like much content, but the way they communicate, but the way they present it, they make their way through, right? Have you experienced this, right? Okay, now see, the main issue is too little communication. Okay, what do you mean by too little communication? When you talk to somebody, right? Let me put it in a simple example. Getting somebody to buy a mineral water, right? So if you just tell, you're a manager, you're telling your colleague or your assistant, go and buy mineral water. That's it. All right, go and buy mineral water. And the other person, which is the receiver, might be thinking, okay, fine, I need to buy mineral water, I need to get mineral water, but how many bottles? Is 250 ml is enough, or shall I go for 500 ml? Right? And when do you need those mineral water bottles? For what event? How should I arrange it? Right? So there is a lack of communication. Can you see? Right? So it's not that 100%, I'm not blaming the receiver or sender, but I'm just saying the incomplete communication process in between. Right? So this will result in task not being done 100%. Correct? Okay, let us look at the second issue, too much communication. And people like me tend to talk a lot sometimes. You have to bear with me, right? Okay, you see, too much communication. What does it mean by too much communication? We have introvert person, we have extrovert people, right? So extrovert tend to talk a lot. Talk a lot as in they naturally they have the ability to basically communicate about anything and everything. An introvert person, they're more reserved type. Let's say your manager is an extrovert person, somebody who loves talking. Too much communication. Let me put this in the same example, getting a mineral water bottle, right? You're telling your colleague, okay, Adam, I need you to go and get 10 mineral water bottles, but then you can choose whether you want to go and get it at Tesco or Jasco. But bear in mind, they'll have like 10 different types of bottles that you can get, so it can be 250 ml, 500, but I'm just wondering if I should get 250 ml or 500 ml, because the session is only 2 hours. So you see lah, how Okay, you just get whatever you want, but make sure we only have a budget of 10 ringgit. So make sure you get it within that amount. You see, and by the time I finish, I believe all of you might be sleeping already, right? So too much of communication, meaning you are giving them more than what they are supposed to. No, this can be a problem. Why? Because it can confuse your receiver, right? So how you can rectify this? Just tell them the proper amount of information. Adam, please get 10 bottles of mineral waters, 250 ml is sufficient. We need it for today's meeting at 5 o'clock. Any brand will do, go and get it, right? So simple and straightforward. Okay, clear? Understand? Right? Okay, so I'm unable to see all of you on my screen because it's like tiny faces. So I believe if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat. All good? Okay, all right. Okay, now third, wrong style or type of communication. I want you to clearly take note of this. Okay, communication. All of us are different. We have different ability to understand and communicate. Correct? You agree? Can I see a thumbs up? Okay, all right. So we always have different style of communication skills. Let me address to you the three main different communication, I would say learners, three different types of learners, right? So there are visual type of learners, okay? Remember V for visual, auditory for auditory type of listeners, okay, learners, right? Auditory A, and K for kinesthetic. All right, K for kinesthetic. A visual person is someone who learns through visual. They need to see it. They need to see it, then they learn better. An auditory type of person is the one who needs to listen. All right, they need to hear you speak for them to understand better. And a kinesthetic person need to do it. All right, they do it and they learn better. I believe all of you, example, open your notebook and who have this habit of highlighting your points, draw images, like to simplify everything into a mind map format. You are a visual type of learner. Auditory, you like to put your earphone. You can even study while the music is on. You can work while, in a noisy environment. You are basically an auditory type of learner. And kinesthetic, it's very interesting because they cannot sit in one place. 5 minute, oh, I need to go and get my coffee lah. 5 minute break. Oh, you're supposed to study, and then you walk, and then you can see something interesting on the TV, and you stop and you watch the whole day. And your tables will be messy all the time. You have a lot of stick notes here and there. That is kinesthetic, right? So understanding these type of learners will basically help you to convey your message better to the other person. Let's say you're communicating with a visual type of person. Show them, okay, this is how our project need to look like, and this is how the image should look like, and I need you to do according to this. Okay, understand? You show them, for example, you need them to create a table, all right, a table or a schedule. Show them some examples, and this is how I need you to come up with the schedule. They understand better. And how about auditory? Auditory, for example, you just simply send them an email of an example of a schedule. They might not get the point 100%. What you have to do a follow-up call, right? You send them an email, you show them this is how it should be, and you tell them, okay, Adam, I need you to create this table with 5 different columns with all these details, blah blah blah. You have to explain to them, okay? And kinesthetic, you know, this person is very much a doing person. They have to do it to understand, get them to do it. Okay, Adam, you create a schedule, you create this template, and I will assist you and I will check whether this is right or not. Right? So that those are the things that you can do when you're communicating with different types of people. Okay, clear? Clear? All right. So if you don't understand or if you have any question, like I said, you can always put it in the chat box, right? Okay, now look at this image. Okay, look at this image. So now I believe you can understand this better. All right. So can you see this? Can you see how the programmer wrote it? Okay, it's a swing and it's not even on the branch, it's like on the ground, right? How the business consultant described it, salespeople, they tend to exaggerate things always, right? Because they are salespeople, they need to market their company's product, right? So this is how basically somebody who can exaggerate things, somebody who can communicate things, they can make something which doesn't exist. Okay, all right. So this is the power of communication. And can you see how the project was actually documented? You see? So this is how something which is, communication is so powerful, which it can make something which doesn't exist and something exists don't at all. Okay, clear? It's just that how you are communicating things, right? Okay. All right. So let me move to the next one. Okay. Okay. Now, so there's a lot of barriers and issues at workplace when we talk about communication. So it not necessarily at workplace, because I do have like students attending these sessions, right? So it can be your classroom, it can be your college, wherever you go. How you can overcome communication barriers? Okay, evaluate feedback. Number one, whenever we receive a feedback, don't immediately react to it. All right, take some time to evaluate why they are saying certain things. All right, like I said, getting the mineral water bottle. The task may not be complete or not done 100%. Why? Because your communication was incomplete, your information given was incomplete. So when you start evaluating, you know that you did not provide important information, you did not provide complete information for the other person to complete the task, right? So second, listening skills. This is very important. All right, a lot of people have problem listening. They just want to talk, but they don't want to listen. Communication, always remember, is a two-way thing. One person talk, another person listen. The other person talk and you listen. If it's a written communication, one person writes, another person reads, right? So there's always some reaction to it. So before you start communicating, you need to understand what the message is all about. In order to understand what is it all about, you have to listen. All right, so you have to listen. Okay, now I'm going to go very brief on this, right? So later when we have our Q&A, we can try to discuss more. And yes, any questions in between, you can put it in the chat box. Okay, all right. Now, improve writing skills. This is another important part, right? So when we talk and when we write or read a message, that's totally different. Okay, because when I say something like now, for example, I'm talking to you and you can basically listen to my voice. You can interpret better what I am saying. Okay, right? This is very much interrelated with your language, tone, and content as well. For example, if I write something, I write an email in all capital red. Okay, don't okay, this is a mistake. Okay, this is a mistake. All red, capital, bold. How does it sound? Anger, it shows that the person is angry, right? It shows that the person is shouting. whenever you receive some messages, like for example, anything in all capital, how does it sound? It sounds like the other person is shouting, raising his voice, not, not in a happy mood, right? Correct? Even though, maybe they just accidentally turned on the caps lock and started typing the message. So you see, the message can be conveyed in a wrong manner. So this is the reason why you should know how you should write properly. Write properly meaning the usage of capital letters, the usage of, don't simply just because you have the tools or facilities, when you write an email, you can highlight it, you can bold it, you can use one, all sort of colors. Don't try to experiment everything at once, because it has high chance of you converting the communication into and conveying a wrong message. Okay, clear? Right? Now, number 4, clarify ideas before communication. Okay, communication is basically, you need a content to communicate, correct? Right? So without content, you can't really communicate much or express your thoughts, right? So in order for you to communicate effectively, you must make sure you have the right content. All right, so don't talk empty. A lot of people say you talk empty. No, you should always clarify ideas. So especially at the workplace. So at workplace, you don't want to waste your time or waste the other person's time, just by taking so much time communicating over the same matter again and again, right? So identifying your content and clarifying your ideas. Okay, if I am to do this in this way, particular way, okay, how would the outcome be? All right, so you have few points in your mind, or maybe you can take note and then go in a discussion. So it will be better for you and it will help you to convey the message in a better way. And also, other person, you can easily brainstorm ideas from that. Okay, all right. Okay, now put consideration. Okay, when I say consideration, okay, when I say put consideration, communication, like I said, you don't want to be interrupted, right? So you don't want to simply cut the other person off, right? So imagine yourself talking and somebody just cut you off. How would we feel? It's not a nice feeling, right? It's not a nice feeling. So same thing, put consideration whenever somebody is talking, somebody is saying something. Respect is the key for communication. For example, if let's say two people are arguing, all right, two people are arguing and you keep on saying, that's your mistake, that's your mistake, that's your mistake. I can bet you the situation is going to get worse, right? Why? Because we human being, it's our natural tendency to protect ourselves, right? So to defend ourselves, the more people blame you or the more people say you are wrong, we try to defend ourselves. No, I'm not wrong, you are wrong. No, I am right, I did this correctly, you didn't understand it properly. Okay, we have this tendency of such situation happening. That is the reason why you have to first accept what they are saying. Yes, Mr. Adam, I get your point, but I feel, in my opinion, this can be done better if you have done it this way. Sound better? First of all, you're not going against what the person is saying, right? You're not going against what the person is saying, and you are countering it back in a more positive way, right? Accept and then convey your message. Clear? Okay, right. So now be aware of language, tone, and content. Okay, now this one, language, tone, and content. You see, we are in a multiracial country, correct? You may meet like different types of people with different background, language background. So number one, some people, like for example, it's their cultural practice, like for example, like Malays usually have a lower tone of voice, the way they communicate. right? So the foreigners, like for example, the whites and like Nigerians, for example, naturally they speak loud, correct? Right? For Asians, if you speak loud, it is considered rude. We don't really like it if you are loud, right? So you have to be aware of these cultural differences and your tone of voice. Always remember your tone of voice is very important when you are communicating. Example, let me say this to you. You can see the difference, huh? Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to see you today. All the best. Okay, flat. Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to see you all today. Are you all excited? Same message, right? Same message, but when you are conveying it in a different tone mode, it doesn't sound the same anymore, right? Okay, so these are the simple things that you can use to avoid or overcome communication barriers at your workplace, right? There's a lot of other tools you can apply, but today I'm just going to keep it very simple and basic. Okay, right? Okay, so let me move on.
Miss Tevya, there's
Yes.
a question from Jenny. I think you can choose to answer it now or later on. Basically, her question is
Okay.
about the communication. Sometimes people feel shy to even speak. So is there any advice that you can give to help build confidence to voice out or to speak out?
Okay. All right,
Thank you.
Jenny. Okay, thanks, Chris. Thanks. Okay, Jenny, for your question, right? I have actually some tips for you towards end of the session. So shall we wait until end of the session, or you want me to share it now? Is end of the session is okay?
Yes, I think end of the session is perfectly fine.
Okay, all right, great. Because
Thank you.
I did provide, I did have prepare some tips for all of you how you can boost your confidence level when you speak. So let me share this, share it during the end of the session. Okay, all right. Thanks, Jenny. Thanks for your question. Okay, so let me move on. Okay. Now, okay, so persuasive communication. How a strong message can influence thinking, behavior, and beliefs. Right. So, communication is so powerful that you can make something or you can break something totally. Agree? All right. So, communication, the power of communication, when it is done in a proper way, you can make things happen. At the same time, if you do not communicate well or put things right, you can break the whole thing. All right. So let me just share one very important tool. Okay, the rhetorical triangle by Aristotle. All right. So Aristotle is a famous philosopher, right? So he has come up with this rhetorical triangle, and there's two versions actually. One is the old one, and one they call it the modern version. But let me just share. How many of you are aware of this? Anyone? Okay, right. So it's not as complicated as it may look. All right. There's three things you may use. All right. So when we communicate, always bear in mind we communicate for few reasons. Right. So for our effectiveness. All right. Effective. How you can be effective in your workplace, studies, anything. Your well-being, we need to communicate with somebody, right? We need to always communicate with somebody. It can be a family member. We are not like alone in this world. Wherever you go, wherever we are, we definitely meet different types of people, and we have to communicate with them, right? So why do we need to communicate with them? Get something done, influence somebody, convince somebody, right? So there's a lot of processes involved, especially when you are looking at it in a business perspective. Let's say you are marketing a product. You need your product to be reachable, right? So you have to convey, you can have like 1,001 wonderful products, but if you don't really communicate the product to the consumer, they're not going to get it. They're not going to buy it. Sometimes you might wonder, a very simple product, but put it in the right way, it reaches millions of people, right? Okay, now, so this is one very important tool that you can try. Okay, so there's three things: ethos, logos, and pathos. Okay, so let me start with logos. All right, so logos are basically the message. Always remember, logos are message. Message always meaning, okay, your content. Let me put it in this way. Logos are messages, message that you would like to deliver, which is your content. And your content need to be based on facts, truths, and logic. Okay? Facts, truths, and logic. So that will be the body of your communication. Number two is basically pathos. Pathos are your audience. To whom are you communicating this message to? All right. So pathos are audience, your audience. And audience, when you say audience, always remember it's emotion. All right, emotion. So when we talk to people, humans are very much emotional type. So when you're conveying a message, you have to link it a little bit with emotion, all right, to make it more effective and influential. And number three is the ethos. Ethos is the speaker. All right, ethos. Ethos is the speaker, meaning the sender of information. All right, credibility and authority. Who is the speaker? Who is he? Right? So always remember, logos, the message, number one. Pathos, your audience, who are you communicating with? And number three, ethos, the speaker. For example, let's say you are a milk powder manufacturing company. Okay, let me put it in an example so you can understand this better. You are a milk powder manufacturer, milk powder for babies, infant milk powder. Okay, so you need to deliver a message to your consumer about nutrients for baby. This particular milk powder contains a lot of wonderful nutrients that can really be boosting the health of your baby, the consumer's baby. That's number one. Your content, milk powder, all right, and you're going to talk about the nutrients. And number two, who are you going to target? When we talk about infants, babies, milk powder, automatically who come to your mind? Mothers, right? So you're going to basically talk to mothers or parents. Mothers, parents, they will be your audience. And number three, speaker, who is delivering the message, right? So speaker, who is delivering the message? If let's say I am a milk powder manufacturer and I'm going to talk about nutrients for babies and I'm going to deliver this message to mother. I cannot be from an engineer background, or I cannot be a constructor, right? So I have to be a nutritionist. I have to be a doctor. Credibility, from whom the message is coming, right? If let's say a contractor comes and tell you, hey, you should take this injection, it's good for your body, will you listen? Automatically no. Why? Because hey, who you are, man, who are you actually, right? So you got nothing to do with medical background and you're telling me to take this injection, so automatically you won't, right? So what if you go to a doctor and a doctor suggests you to take this medication so that it can help you to improvise your health? Definitely you will listen. Why? Because the credibility of the doctor. Okay, so communication, making it more influencing, so you have to put into consideration these three main things, right? So your message, what is your message? Your audience, who are you conveying the message to? And your own credibility, right? I cannot be talking about how to create robots, because that is not my forte, right? My expertise more into communication, and I can talk about communication. I can share things on communication, right? So that is the whole concept. Clear? Okay. All right. Great. So moving on now. Let me, briefly, okay, yeah, almost there. Okay, now let me share about non-verbal. We've been talking about communication, right? What is important, what is not important. So let us talk about non-verbal communication. Communication is not only verbal, it is also non-verbal. So up to 90% of communication is basically non-verbal, right? So as you see, when you're communicating with somebody, your eye movements, your hand gestures, your facial expression, all this counts. Okay. And the effectiveness of communication. All right, the effectiveness of communication. Basically, people only hear 7% of words, choice of words that you use. 38% they remember your tone of voice, all right, your tone of voice, and 55% body language, how they basically make you feel. All right, so don't worry about your choice of word. You can convey a message more effectively with the right tone of voice and the right body language. That's why I always say don't really concern much about your language. You know, I'm not good in English. I can't speak proper English. Okay, so you can basically use the other way. Okay. Um, okay, now, and how people receive information, how people take in what you are saying through their eyes. 82% is from what they see, 11% from what they hear, and 7% from other senses. Okay, so communication, it's not only basically talking, but it involves overall your body. Okay. Now, I'll quickly share some few tips how you can basically master your body language, all right? Not to use too much of it, right? Don't use too much of body language or too little. You must always make sure you have the right amount of body language or gestures, okay? So number one, posture. Posture is very important, and this is very basic. Everyone should know. Automatically, when you sit up straight, you are preparing your body to be able to receive the information in a proper manner. Okay. So, for example, you can test this yourself. Lie down on a bed and start talking. All right, lie down on a bed and start talking. You can see, or somebody, let's say you call your friend and you can talk. The first question they'll ask is that, hey, are you sleeping? Automatically they can sense it through your voice. Why? Because of your body posture. You need more energy when you speak. Stand up and speak. Why? The voice travels from your stomach up to your throat and it delivers out in a more direct way. So you have more energy when you speak, when you stand up straight. So posture is very important. So don't show like a reluctancy. I hope all of you can see like crossing your hands, it shows that you are not ready, you don't like it, or pushing your chair back, right? Coming towards, coming near to the camera or to the speaker. All right, all these can basically show your level of interest. And these are simple things that you can basically test or see. Number two, gestures. Okay, now I want you all to see, look at me. I believe all of you can see me, right? So gestures, I'm not going to say anything, but I'm just going to show you some gestures and you're going to guess what is it, right? All right, so you can put it in the chat box or, you can keep it to yourself or, I just want you to try to guess these gestures. Okay, now. Okay, number two. Okay, could you actually see? Can you see the difference? I'm not saying it, but can you capture? All right, maybe you can unmute yourself for some time, for a while. Okay, what is this? Still on mute. Okay, never mind. So, this is okay, right? Thumbs up. Good. Good, yes. Nodding your head. This is you are
Agree.
agreeing. This one?
Disagree.
Disagree. Yes. And how about
Bored.
yeah, kind of like you're not, you know,
Yeah.
you're angry. You want to, you basically you feel like punching somebody.
Awesome.
Right. Okay. And how about this? Okay. Basically, when you have somebody when you're talking, they're, you know, kind of like tilting their head to the right, to the left. One, they are confused. Two, they are not really agreeing to what you are saying. All right, these are some gestures that you can, you know, identify, and it shows that they don't really accept what you're saying. Okay, so there's a lot of things that you can basically know just by looking and observing, on their gestures. Okay, all right. It's quite interesting actually. As you can see, it's really, really interesting. You can start observing people and basically you can kind of like study them. All right. So now facial expressions. Facial expressions. So facial expressions is pretty much very, very, how to say, something that you can really see, right? So all of you, can you all smile at me? Can you all smile? Show your face. Yes. So how do you feel? How do you express yourself as sad, being sad? Try being sad. Still smiling, some of you. Okay. All right. So anger. You see, our facial expression basically reveals our current emotion, right? What you feel, you reflect it through your face. And I'm going to talk about these micro expressions. I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this micro expression, but micro expressions are quite dangerous, I would say. Why? Because you cannot really hide your feelings when you use micro expression, and micro expressions are something that comes out subconsciously. All right, it's very subconscious. For example, let's say you have a friend excitedly coming and telling you, hey, I love eating spaghetti with chicken curry, and you'll be like, you know, automatically you'll be like, you tend to, show it on your face that you don't like, and you basically cannot control the micro expression that just lasts for about few seconds, and people can still notice. Okay, so you have to be more aware and cautious when you are giving your expressions. Okay, number three, tone of voice. Tone of voice, like how I have explained earlier: high, low, monotonous. You have it's flat. So that totally gives a difference when you communicate. Imagine the whole session I just talk like, okay, today I'm going to talk about body language and communication and gestures, facial expressions, micro expressions. Nothing. You basically won't get the point. You know why? It sounds so dead, right? It sounds so dead. So you can see I'm stressing on certain areas. I'm lowering my voice. I'm talking on a high pitch. So this is basically on how to say, how you can use your tone of voice to give importance to what you are saying. Example, that is exactly correct. You're pressing the exactly correct. Yes, I agree. No, no, I don't think so. You see how you are putting, your agreement or disagreement to certain things using your voice. Okay. Eye contact. Now, eye contact is very important. All right. So, let me just share this one thing: the triangle eye contact method. Some people are basically very shy. They don't really look at people's face when they talk, right? So they're very shy. They tend to look down, look elsewhere, and you can use this technique to practice. So the triangle eye method is basically you have your right eye, left eye, and your mouth, right? So you try practicing this. Look at the right eye for about 1-2 seconds, and then move to their left eye, 1 to 3 seconds, and then their mouth for 1 to 2 seconds. But always remember, don't stare. Okay, just because I told you to look at them, don't keep on staring at them. And then if let's say you are a male and you're talking to a female, don't keep staring at their mouth like about 5-10 seconds. That's weird, right? That's definitely weird, and you will make the other person feel uncomfortable as well. So make sure use your eye contact wisely. If let's say you still can't, what you do, focus here in the middle of the eyebrows. All right. So when you talk to somebody, just look at their at the middle of their eyebrows. All right. So it will basically look like you are looking at the eyes when you are talking, but it can kind of like enhance your self-esteem a little bit. You know, you'll be more confident and comfortable when talking to somebody, right? So you can use this method. So remember, do not stare. Okay, do not stare. Now breathing. Okay, make sure when you are talking to somebody, you control your breathing. Don't start talking like, you know, miss, You see, that shows that, you know, you are not, it makes the other person feel uncomfortable. You know, you're breathing so heavily when you're talking. So you must make sure you control your breathing. And clothing and hygiene. Some people, the moment they open their mouth, the other person can faint. All right. So make sure you take care of your hygiene. Brush your teeth. Make sure, you know, you have some mints with you when you're talking to people. So communication, when I say communication, all these aspects are very, very crucial and important. All right. Your touch. When you talk, don't simply touch a person continuously. All right, let's say you want to praise somebody, just tap on their back once, done. Don't keep tapping it. Oh, you're so good, and start rubbing their back. No, that's a big no. So you must make sure your touch, you limit your touch. All right, so you don't want to overdo it when you talk to some people. That makes the other person very, very uncomfortable. Okay, and number 9, proximity. Don't go too close. Look at the first image. You know, you're shaking hands with somebody where you just straight away go and bang them. You know, don't even give a space. So that's kind of like weird, right? It makes them feel very uncomfortable. And the second image, talking to somebody, you talk to them too close. So that makes like until they can even feel you breathing. Okay, that is not a right thing to do. And look at the how to say, the space. Okay, you can see few circles, right? Look at the red one. Red one is basically intimate space. Okay, it's very close. It's basically about 1.5 feet, you know. So you can always face your space using this. So when you are intimate, you are very close. Your personal space, basically. All right. So your personal space is basically within 1.5 to 2 feet. Okay, it's still okay. Your social space. So when you are in a social place, how you should stand, especially now COVID, obviously you have to keep your distance even a bit more lah, right? So your social space about approximately 4 feet away from another person. Okay, so your public space is when you are at a public place, you are at a shopping mall, you know, you are at a park or something. So make sure you maintain a distance of 12 feet to 25 feet. So this is basically a kind, I won't say this is the right amount of space you know, you have to maintain, but this is somewhere a comfortable space that you can use, you can you know, basically maintain, right? Okay, all right. Okay, I have one more question by Mr. Gopalan Santivalu. Hi all, this is Gopalan to Theivanai. I hear many times communicators say through your voice. What does it mean in communication? How to have generate ample energy from start to end in 30 minutes communication? Okay, now throwing your voice. Okay, I think this one I can answer this now itself before I move on. Is that okay? All right. Okay, when we say throw your voice, right? Throwing your voice, you have to always remember loud and shout are two different things. Okay, loud and shout are two different things. Throwing your voice, for example, I need to say something which is important. Okay, I have to emphasize that this message is important. So I have to throw my voice, for example, dear all, I know today's session is just about 45 minutes, but I want you to please pay attention to this part of communication. This is really important. Why? Because communication is your everyday essential. You see, throwing your voice doesn't mean you throw your voice throughout your 30 minutes presentation. Then the speaker will faint, I tell you, right? Because you're going to throw your energy throughout the 30 minutes. It's kind of like difficult, Mr. Gopal. All right, so what you do, what does it mean by throwing your voice is that you just stress on that particular point at certain period of time during a presentation, not from start to end. Okay, you go low and then you go high where you want to stress on that particular point, and then you go low back again, and then you go up. So it has to be a how to say, just like your heartbeat, you know, up down, up down, up down, but not consistently up down. I say high low, high low, high low. No, it's not that way, right? So you must basically give them some duration when you should go low, when you should go high. Don't keep it low for straight. Okay, guys, today I'm going to start this session, and this is really, really important, and I really need your cooperation by, you know, giving some thumbs up, blah, 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 for a longer duration. Or, guys, I know this is very important. I want you to pay attention, and this is what I need from you all. So please make sure you have the ethos, pathos, logos, blah, 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 and you go on and on and on. You get what I'm saying? Okay, all right. So make sure you face yourself as a presenter. Okay, this is another important thing that, you know, everybody need to take into consideration. As a presenter, you know your content, right? You know your content. So basically, you should kind of like plan, and you should know where and when you should throw your voice or put it low. For example, in let's say you are conducting a face-to-face class, and you can see all your participants are basically sleeping. So you cannot go low there. You have to kind of like throw your voice a little bit, and you can also add some body language to it. For example, okay guys. So, okay, by clapping your hands, automatically it wakes the other person, right? So you don't, it's not necessarily for you to, you know, continuously shout or put a loud voice. You can always, you know, do something, some gestures, okay, fingers, or throw some questions, make them alert. So this is how you should basically, you know, face your voice. Okay, all right. Is that clear, Mr. Gopal? Okay, okay, there's I can't really see where is Mr. Gopal. Okay, all right, thank you, thank you. All right, so he said yes. Okay, now let me move on to the next one. Okay, now body language to enhance self-esteem. So this part, Jenny, I think you can pay attention to this, and I do have some tips at during the end of the session as well, because she did ask how to basically, you know, be more confident when we talk, right? Okay, so body language to enhance self-esteem. Number one, maintaining good eye contact and the right eye contact. Remember, do not look at the same person, you know, for a long time. You want to take a break for a few seconds, and then it is okay to move your eye contact. You know, just because people keep saying, you know, maintain eye contact, that doesn't mean you keep staring at the person like that, right? It is totally fine for you to move your eye contact. All right, so take like few seconds break. You can look up, you know, Yes, Mr. Adam, you are actually right. And yes, look at my phone. You can point at something, so that is totally fine. Okay. Number two, firm that handshake. A lot of people, they just, okay, there is a saying that, you should firm your handshake. A firm handshake shows that you are a confident person. Okay, that is very common, commonly heard. So what people tend to do, just because they feel that, okay, I have to give my handshake really firm to show that I'm a confident person, they tend to overdo it. All right, they tend to overdo it, especially men. When you are shaking hands with a woman, you have to understand that men, obviously you are a bit more muscular and you're a bit like, strong in terms of when you're grasping the person's hand, so you tend to kind of like, you tend to squeeze the other person's hand. So please don't do that. So you must also know whom you are shaking hands with. A firm handshake means a full handshake. Okay, I hope you all can see me. So when you're giving your hands, it has to go full, not halfway, not straight. You have to basically grab the person's hand and you have to shake it once. Enough. Don't keep shaking. All right, don't keep shaking. Hi, Mr. Adam, how are you? Until the whole person, until the end of the conversation. So please don't do that. Okay, and make sure you hold the hand right. Don't bend your hand. Don't, like, uh, crunch it. Don't make it so hard. And especially when the other person is wearing ring like me, because I've gone through this many times where they just squeeze my hand and it's quite painful. So we don't want to do that. Okay. Yes, walk like a leader. Try to observe all leaders. Okay, we have a lot of people. Try to observe all leaders, or it can be your immediate boss, anyone who you admire. If you see the way they walk, you can basically observe few important things, or few main things. One, they don't really look down when they walk. Okay. Two, they take big steps and they walk in a straight posture. All right, they don't bend, they don't take small steps, they don't look down and walk. Okay, so when you walk straight, you feel that you're a bit more taller, right? And how you can basically build your confidence when you this is basically when you're doing a presentation, or you can try this, you can try this when you're doing a presentation. Try to wear high heels, or for men, of course, a nice shoes, and try to wear a blazer. Okay, so when you dress well, when you put your blazer on, you feel like more authoritative. All right, you feel like you are more authoritative, and automatically that will boost your confident level. And even when you speak to somebody, because your subconscious mind will always tell you, when you're communicating, people are looking at you, right? We always have this inferiority kind of thing where you feel like everybody is looking at you, and you feel like a bit conscious about how you look, right? So when we make sure we have the right attire, we have the right set of attitude, you don't really bother about these things. Automatically when you speak, your confidence level will go high. Okay. And micro expressions, don't simply give expressions. All right, if even if it's gross, something that you find it very weird, I'm not asking you to just keep your face like a robot. You can, but don't prolong it. Yeah, it shows like not really into it, and you make the other person uncomfortable as well, right? So keep it to the right amount. Okay. Okay, well, I'm taking more time now, so let me just quickly go through. Okay, and another one, smile. Okay, so when you smile, you basically opening up your space for people to communicate with you, feel more comfortable with you. All right, don't always be with a restricted face, muram we call it. All right, so don't really be on that mode, because you have to be more welcoming when you want to foster communication, but not all the time. Don't keep smiling all the time from start to end, until you finish your presentation. No, you must always know where and when. Okay, and how you can identify if the person is genuine. Okay, this one good image which I found, which can really explain what I'm trying to say. When somebody is genuinely smiling, you can see their eyes really like kind of like, you know, you can see some wrinkles, okay, and you can see their jaw and their cheek basically raised upwards. Okay, if somebody, you can check this out, you can test it out, you know, if you have some friends, you know, simply just smile for the sake of smiling, or you know, just greet you for the sake of greeting, you know, just keeping it like, some people have this flat straight smile. I don't know how they do it. It's just like, you know, a genuine smile. Basically you can feel it because the eyes will smile together with their mouth. Okay, all right, so these are something that you can really check out or test. Okay, now before I really end today's session, communication and confidence boosting tips. So Jenny, this is for you, and of course for all of us. How do we basically prepare ourselves? Okay, how do we prepare ourselves? Before we talk, we have to prepare ourselves, especially when you have the tendency of not naturally going into the communication. Okay, the 5 seconds rule. Okay, this is very simple, and this is often practiced by Mel Robbins, if you know who she is. So this is quite famous, and I kind of like Mel Robbins. And the 5 seconds rules is basically you tell yourself 5 seconds before that you're going to do something. It's kind of giving a signal to the brain, telling them to be ready. How you do it? Okay, for example, I'm gonna go for the live webinar today, right? So I just tell myself, Deva, I'm gonna rock this session. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do the counting within yourself. Okay? I'm ready for this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, I'm tapping my finger, right? So all these responses, this is actually non-verbal cues. You are sending the signal to your brain to get your brain ready, be prepared, okay, for the next session or what you are going to do. Just like how you know, that when the alarm, the moment the alarm rings, you know, you straight away tend to press the snooze button. And if you notice, the more you press snooze button, the more difficult it is for you to wake up, right? Okay, so that's why when you send wrong signal to the brain, it actually protects yourself. Brain is actually a very powerful tool. It actually protects yourself from danger. So when you avoid something, your brain tells you, okay, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Same thing, snooze button, your brain tells the body, don't wake up, don't wake up, don't wake up. That's why you have difficulties waking up. So the moment alarm rings, you wake up, it's signaling the brain that, oh, okay, I'm ready to go. Okay, so that's how you should practice. And these 5 second rules is really helps. All right, really helps. Okay, now, yes, Bhavani, I have a question here. How can I improve my communication skill when I'm getting panic when interview or communicating with others? Okay, all right, Bhavani, you asked me, you are asking me the question at the right time. Okay, my next tip is on that. Okay, sometimes when you know, suddenly people tend to ask you something, or you know, out of nowhere, okay, Bhavani, come do this presentation. Bhavani, I need you to explain on this. We tend to get panic, right? Okay, suddenly you might be drinking water, eating something quietly, and suddenly, you know, out of nowhere, your manager asks you to come and present something. What can you do? First, okay, pause. Okay, pause. Pause means silence for a few seconds. When such situation occurs, right, you don't have to immediately react or respond. Okay, bear in mind, no matter where you are, okay, no matter what you are doing at the at the point of time, when somebody is asking you something, it's not necessary for you to immediately tell something. You can pause, but don't pause for a few minutes lah. Take few seconds. All right, pause. Try to send the signal to your brain. Okay, you might be doing something and you have to switch that attention to something else, right? So don't get panic. Pause. Pause for a few seconds. Okay, tell Bhavani, I'm ready for this. Okay. Second, Okay, pace, the speed at which you talk. And it is common when you are panicked or when you are not ready, you tend to talk really fast. You know, miss, all the, you know, you start rapping with the beat, right? So this happens, right? So pace when you talk. You see, when you can use this time to construct the sentence, construct the answer in your brain before you say it. You are pausing, right? You are taking that few seconds. You know, you are contemplating the question in your brain. You're contemplating and pace. Take a slower time to respond. You know, you don't have to go fast, because you see, when I am saying something, if let's say you need to answer something, at the same time I'm constructing the answer in my mind. If I go fast, I tend to forget or I tend to miss out points. But if I pace my time right, I have the right time to basically construct it again and say it. Okay. And number three is clarity. So you must make sure what you are saying, your pronunciation, enunciate this correctly, properly. Sometimes it is quite difficult to understand what people are saying because of their pronunciation. So when you pause, space, and clarity, you say things in a clear mode, people can understand better. For example, you know, let me give you an example. Well, I'm so hungry. I need to go and buy nasi lemak. I want to eat nasi lemak. I'm so hungry. Okay? Panic. You are trying to say it like fast, and you are kind of like tensed up because you are hungry, right? But you are in the middle of something. You cannot be just saying it that way, correct? Put it in a more subtle way. Mr. Adam, I'm quite hungry. I skipped my breakfast this morning. Can I take a break? You know, you tone it down. You don't have to put it in a reacting mode. Okay, all right. I think we have one more question. Okay, Mr. Gopalan. Tip for killing nervousness and boost confidence before start of important communication. Yeah, drink hot water, 60% hot, 5 minutes before start communication. It helps and works well for me. Yes, yes, I take a very deep breath to calm down. These things really works. You have to basically calm your senses. Okay, drinking water allows you to kind of like before you speak, right? You have to calm your senses. What does it mean by senses? You know, our touch, our air. You know, sometimes you tend to sweat. And one more thing, this is one tip for everybody. If let's say before you start a session, you know, you feel like a little nervous, a little nervousness basically tells you that you are ready to go. Okay, so you shouldn't be completely like nothing. I don't feel anything. I don't feel anything. You know, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. I'm so okay. No, if you feel that a little nervousness, basically the body is giving you a signal that you are ready to go. You know, sometimes just like how you are waiting, it can be you can even have ordered your food and waiting at a restaurant, kind of like you're waiting when the waiter will call your name, or tell you the food is ready. So you will have that kind of like a butterfly kind of feeling. That is totally okay. All right, so that is totally fine, but as long as you don't get it to overcome your other abilities, don't make it so obvious. All right, a little bit is still fine. So thank you, Mr. Gopal and Yili. Okay, that really helps. Yeah, I do that a lot of times. In fact, I'm keeping a big water bottle right next to me all the time. Okay. Okay, now basically, yes, communication, it can be anything, not only communication. Okay, it can be anything. If you are too busy to come out of your comfort zone, you will never make it. Like I said, when I was starting this session, I was born in a Tamil speaking family where we don't really speak English, and I always feel embarrassed. I know I'm afraid that I might embarrass myself whenever I communicate with people. But the decision that I made was to overcome this. And how do I overcome this? And this is one typical traditional method, but it worked for me 100%. Reading books and newspapers out loud. Okay. Communication, it's not only getting it right, but also practicing your mouth. All right, so you have to practice, and why newspaper? Because newspaper, usually the English grammar and everything is correct, right? So you can use that, you can read out loud. Practice makes perfect. All right, so okay, I think we have yeah, any soft skills other than this? Okay, Bhavatarani. Soft skill, there's a lot actually, and I don't think so we can cover now. I'm already off time. I took more time actually, right? So I can share what are the other things that we do, like Bhavatarani. We can always get in touch, and if you need any other assistance, you can always reach out to me. All right. So let me just briefly share on what are the things that we can do, and you can call me or reach out to me personally, and I'll be able to assist you more. All right. So before I open up for Q&A, let me just briefly go through what we do. So yes, channel training and development. We are two actually, channel training and development and channel international college. So channel training and development, we do all sort of customized learning and development solutions. And Channel International College is our educational arm under Channel Group, whereby we are more onto skills education. All right, so we focus more on the practical aspects of education. All right, so those are some of the things that we do: English communication, customer experience, leadership, team building, business detox, and on our college side, we have courses like diploma courses, induction courses, certification, and so on. And yes, so I have just put there my contact details, our website, our company location. So that WhatsApp number, that is basically our company line, but I'll be holding the phone, so you can always reach out to me via that number. If you need my personal number, I can also, perhaps I can just say it now, 016 So you can always reach out to me if you need any assistance or if you have any other questions. Okay, good to go? All right, so that's all for today. And yeah, thank you for the wonderful opportunity. So before I end or pass it back to Chris, do you have any questions?
While we're waiting for the questions, Ms. Deva, maybe we can you can not share your screen already, so we can. Thank you. Awesome.
Sure. Okay, right. Okay, yeah. Can just unmute yourself and any question. Can we have a copy of this recording? Yes, yes. I think Chris will be providing you the recorded copy, right, Chris?
Yes. So we are recording this session. We're still recording this session right now, and we'll get it transcribed and rendered, and then we're going to put it on YouTube on an unlisted link. Okay. And we're going to send it over to everyone, so you can fast forward and rewind. So let's say Tevia says something like that hits you really hits home with you. You can rewind it and listen to it again. Okay, so that's why we put it on a private YouTube link. While we're waiting for questions, while we're waiting, oh, most welcome. While we're waiting for questions, if I can have everyone switch on their video, because we're going to take screenshots and we're gonna send these to you. Now, I will also say this: we might share some of these photographs on social media, but what we will do is we're going to block out your name that we see on the screen, so we'll give you some privacy. All right. Yes, yes, Rebecca. We'll send you everything. All right. So, does anybody have any questions? On anything that we listened to so far this morning?
Yeah. Anything that you want to ask?
I have something that I learned, and it reinforced for me, Ms. Tevia. When you talked about the overcoming communication barriers, one of the things that I realized that a lot of people do is they don't really listen. Listening is such a very important skill. So thank you for sharing that part. And the reason people don't listen is because they're not really listening to you. They're you said something and then they're thinking, oh, this is what I'm going to say when the other person finishes talking. Okay,
Correct.
so what really hit home for me was the pause, because when you said the pause after after they finish talking, that allows you to kind of formulate your response and digest what the other person was saying.
Yep.
And I think we should all learn to pause a little bit when the other person finishes talking, so we can hear everything. We can really listen and hear everything that they were saying. So thank you so much for that.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks. Glad
Okay,
we got some information.
awesome. So does anybody have any more questions for Ms. Tevia?
Good morning, Miss Tevia, Chris, and everyone.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, Daniel.
I have a question here.
Yes.
When we smile, do we need to show our teeth or just smiling?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good question. All right. When you smile, right, it depends on what the other person is saying. If let's say it's not something very funny, you see, when we kind of like when we want to have a warm welcome, a smile without showing your teeth is fine. Okay. When they're talking about something or making like cracking a joke, because when we are communicating with people, right, we have different people and we don't only talk about tasks sometimes. We may talk about some social issues, something funny, that went around. And if the point is what they're saying is really funny, then you don't mind showing your teeth, right? You smile a little, wider, or you start laughing, and you that is totally fine. The point here is try to be yourself. All right, try not to just because I told you to smile and you don't want to keep your face like the straight smile, which I say, the flat smile. So you can always smile, you can show your teeth, but as long as what is the topic that they're talking about and how you don't overdo it, that is totally fine, Daniel. As
Awesome.
long as you're comfortable with it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for question, Daniel. Ms. Tevia,
Yes.
Jane made a comment. She says, thank you so much for the talk, ma'am. Actually, kind of a shy person. The advice is very helpful for me and should apply it always. And I
Yes.
think, Jane echoes my sentiments as well. Does anybody have any additional questions? If you have any questions after we end the session, you can always send Ms. Tevia a WhatsApp, or you can email to me, and then I'll forward the question, and then she can respond to you. So while we're waiting for any additional questions, if I can ask everyone a favor, if you have the ability to put your video on, I'd love to take a group picture. We're going to take 2 or 3 pictures. One we're going to take where everyone looks normal right now. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do that right now.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Now you can smile. You can choose show your teeth.
I've had that question before, Ms. Tevia, and my answer is a joke. It's like, yes, you can show your teeth if you have them. Okay. All right. So I'll take a couple pictures, and then what I like everyone to do is what do we call this? We call this a love sign, right? So if everybody can do that, and then we'll show Ms. Tevia some love. Here you go. Okay, awesome. And then let's take one more where we're like kind of wacky. So we said that some of us said, oh, we need to have confidence, right? So let's build up a little bit of confidence and try to look as wacky as possible. You can do a gesture. You can make a funny face. My face is always funny anyway, so you can make a funny face. You can you kind of do that. So on the count of 3, I'm going to have everybody do any kind of gesture that you want, and I'll take a couple pictures. Shall we do that? Yes. Okay. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh, some of you are so wacky. Okay, awesome. As I mentioned, and I'll share these pictures with everyone as well. and we will get the recording links sent out to you. Give me 24 hours to get it done. I want to express my sincere thanks and appreciation to Ms. Tevia for taking her time and sharing this information with us. Like I said, me for one, I did get a lot of value out of the session. And if we'll leave this room open for about another 2 or 3 minutes, in case you have any questions that you want to ask Ms. Tevia. And if not, we'll close up the room in about 2 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. And I want to wish everyone, because we have guests from a couple different countries here. I want to wish everyone to have blessings for everyone. Please stay safe. Take care of yourself. Please just take care of yourself. All right. Thank you.
Yes, it was a wonderful session. Thanks, Chris, for having me in, and all you people. I was really glad to see you all actually, and great to be connected. Thanks to technology, no matter where we are still connected to each other, right? So
Right.
let's keep in touch. And yes, I mean, before we end, you can feel free to ask me anything, and within my knowledge, I'll be more than happy to answer that for you.
Awesome. Special thanks to Jamerly and Christina. I know that we'll see. I know that I'll see you again on future sessions. And what we'll do also is we do have a whole series lined up. It's every Friday from 10 a.m. to 11:30, and I'll send notifications for the future sessions as well. All right. So if we have no more additional questions, feel free to give a final wave for this session. And then as you leave, just if you can do me a favor and just say, thanks, Ms. Tevia. And then we'll see everyone as soon as we can. I'm very sure that we'll meet each other again, either online or in real life. Thank you, everyone. Stay safe and blessings for all.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for being on the session. I'm going to go ahead and end the session right now. Ms. Tevia, thank you so much for being on the, for agreeing to present your valuable information today. We really, really appreciate it. And I will see you again very, very soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. Thanks.
Wilhelmina, you asked for my email address. You'll have it because I'll send it. But basically, it's cr@cigsb.com. But you'll get an email from me within 24 hours, and everyone will as well.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Chris. See you soon.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
All right. Stay safe, everyone. Blessings for all.